right, so this problem from the worksheet that says right triangles and trigonometry at the bottom, it was all right triangle similarity. This is number 28. And I like this problem because it emphasizes something that I have a tendency, or excuse me, it sort of is a good example of something that I have a tendency to emphasize or reiterate a lot. And that is that just because you don't necessarily know how you're going to finish a problem doesn't mean you shouldn't start the problem. In other words, at this point, you're looking at, I need to find E, I need to find C, I need to find D, and I know a theorem that relates those three together, but that doesn't help me if I don't know any of those three. But what you have to do is start with what you do know. And what you do know is you do know the whole hypotenuse, and you do know the whole leg, one whole leg. So it really doesn't matter whether or not you can see how that's going to get you to the answer in terms of knowing that that's where you're going to start. So you might as well start with that and see what happens. In terms of our geometric mean theorems, we have one that says that the whole hypotenuse over a leg of the right triangle is equal to that leg over the piece of the hypotenuse, in this case it's C, that touches that leg, or part is what I'm saying. Again, another way of phrasing that is that a leg of the big right triangle is the geometric mean of the whole hypotenuse and the piece that touches it. Okay, so I'm going to say 16 over 14 equals 14 over C. Okay, and 14 squared is 196, so I get 16C equals 196. 196 divided by 16 is 12.25. And because I'm going to be doing some calculations with this, I'm going to go ahead and go with that decimal. Okay, so C is 12.25. Well, now that I have that, I can find D, because I know that 12.25 plus D equals 16. So 16 minus 12.25 gives me 3.75 for D. Now I'm ready to go ahead and use the other geometric mean theorem, which is the one that deals with the altitude, which in this case is E, and says that one part of the hypotenuse, part over the altitude, is equal to the altitude over the other part of the hypotenuse. In other words, the altitude is the geometric mean of the two pieces that it divides the hypotenuse into. So 12.25 over E equals E over 3.75. So now I can cross multiply and I get 12.25 times 3.75. That's 45.9375. And when I take the square root of that, because I get E squared equals that, I have a syntax error. Let me try again. Sorry, my calculator acted a little odd. It was 45.9375. And when I take the square root of that, I get 6.7 repeating. So E is about 6.78. So now I have E, I have C, and I have D.